Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about penetration testing. Think of it as the ultimate controlled fire drill for your entire digital operation.
Let me ask you a question, a really important one. If a cyber attacker decided to target your organization right now, this very second, would you know how far they could get? What they could steal? What they could break? This isn't just some hypothetical question to keep you up at night. It's the entire reason penetration testing exists.
So, what is it really? Well, pen testing is basically a simulated cyber attack. But the two most important words there are controlled and authorized. This isn't about causing chaos. It's a very careful, professional exercise to find security holes and, more importantly, prove they're a real threat before the actual bad guys get a chance to.
So let's think about this in the right way. This isn't just a task, it's a mission. And the mission is to simulate a genuine attack so you can truly understand how your defenses hold up in the real world.
A real pen test is first and foremost an ethical hacking exercise. You have explicit permission to do it. But here's the key difference. It's all about exploitation, not just finding things. See, it's not enough to say, that door looks a little weak. A pen tester actually tries to kick the door in. And what you get from that is real, hard evidence of actual risk.
And it's just as important to understand what it isn't. A lot of people mix this up. It is not just running an automated scanner. It is not a bug bounty program where you just wait for people to find things. And it is definitely not a check-the-box compliance activity. This is a targeted, creative, human-led effort.
And this right here, this is the perfect example. A vulnerability scan might come back and say, hey, you got an old piece of software. Okay, that's interesting. But a pen test report comes back and says, yeah, I saw that old piece of software, and using it, I broke in, stole the admin's password, and took over your payment system. See the difference? One is a potential problem, the other is proof of a disaster waiting to happen.
Let's just lay it out side by side. Your average scan, it's all automated, it doesn't actually try to break anything, and honestly, it can generate a lot of noise, a lot of false alarms. A pen test, though, uses human creativity. It actively exploits flaws to prove they're real, and it connects everything back to the actual business impact. You get way fewer false positives, which means you can focus on what really, truly matters.
Okay, so now that we know what a pen test is, let's talk about where it happens. What are the digital battlefields where these security pros do their work? First up, the big one, web applications. We're talking about any website you use where you have to log in. Your bank, your email, your company's internal portal. These are huge, complex targets, and they're constantly under attack.
Here's a classic, a really famous attack called SQL injection. Now look at this little string of text. An attacker might pop this into a login box. To a computer, the statement 1 equals 1 is, well, it's always true. By sneaking that into the login form, the attacker totally messes with the database's logic.
And the result? Boom. The entire login process just gets short-circuited. The database is tricked into thinking everything's okay, and just like that, the attacker is in. And usually, they're in with the most powerful account there is, the admin.
Another huge battlefield these days is APIs. Think of them as the messengers that let all our different apps and services talk to each other. A really common problem here is something called an IDOR. Basically, imagine an app asks to see your transaction, number 123. A pen tester might just try changing that number to 124. If they suddenly see someone else's private data, you've got a massive problem.
And of course, we absolutely have to talk about the cloud. With so much of our data and infrastructure living on services like Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure, simple misconfigurations can have devastating consequences, and they happen all the time.
A classic example is a misconfigured storage bucket, like an S3 bucket in AWS. Get one little setting wrong, and suddenly you could have incredibly sensitive Know Your Customer documents. We're talking passports, driver's licenses, personal info, just sitting out there, open to the entire internet. It's a nightmare scenario.
So how does this all actually work? Well, it's not some random, chaotic hacking spree. Not at all. A professional pen test is a highly structured process. It's a game plan with clear phases from beginning to end.
It usually looks something like this. You start with planning and scoping. That's setting the rules of the game. Then you have reconnaissance, which is basically gathering intelligence. After that, threat modeling to figure out the most likely attack paths. Then comes the main event, exploitation. If they get in, they move to post-exploitation to see how far they can go.
And then, finally, it all wraps up with reporting.
And let me be perfectly clear about this. All of the clever hacking in the world is completely useless if nobody understands what it means. The report is, without a doubt, the single most important part of the entire process. This is where technical findings get translated into business risk.
A great report is basically a roadmap. It tells you exactly what the problem is, it gives you undeniable proof of how it was exploited, it explains what the business impact is, the so what. It gives you a risk rating so you know what to fix first, and it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to actually fix it.
Which brings us to the final debrief, because at the end of the day, the entire point of this whole exercise is to prove real, understandable risk that the business can actually do something about.
So let's tie this all together with a real-world scenario. Imagine a pen test on a popular mobile wallet app, something you might have on your phone right now.
During the test, the team found some huge problems. First, an IDOR flaw, just like we talked about. Let them view other people's transactions. The app also didn't limit login attempts, so they could just keep guessing one-time passcodes over and over again. And maybe worst of all, they found secret API keys just sitting inside the app's code for anyone to find.
Now here's where it all clicks. What do those technical findings actually mean? Well, they mean attackers could take over accounts, they could commit financial fraud, and the company would be facing massive fines for regulatory breaches, not to mention a total collapse of customer trust. That's the impact.
And that leads us to the single most important idea I want you to walk away with. Penetration testing is not about finding bugs. It is about proving risk. It's the bridge that connects a piece of code to a real-world, business-level consequence.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about for your own organization. Are you just busy finding bugs and making long lists of potential problems, or are you focused on proving what the actual, tangible risk to your business is? Because knowing that difference, well, that changes everything.